Did I sort of do something ridiculous by buying 3 copies of the same book when I could have read the first one and it wouldn't have made a difference? Absolutely yes. Am I finally happy that I got the right copy that I wanted? Absolutely yes. I'm a book hoarder. I have a problem. I'm working on it.
It could change the world.
On we go.
What's it making, Mr. Wonka?
Hey guys, it's Steph here. So, this month is going to be my first time doing the Owls Readathon. It was first introduced by the channel called Book Roast. I've never done a readathon before. I'm super excited. I'm more of like an emotional reader. I read whatever I'm interested at the moment, and if I'm not interested, I'll put it down. This is going to be a challenge for me to try to read books that are fitting with the prompts for this year's Owls. So in case you're not sure what that is, the Owls are the ordinary wizarding level exams in the Harry Potter series. There is a website that you can go online to see the different prompts, and you can choose different careers and get a certification in the different careers within the Harry Potter series. I think it's so much fun. It's going to be so awesome. So for this year's exam, I decided to go with the Mage of Visual Arts. I'm an art teacher. I'm also a professional artist. I also work 2 other jobs. I'm a freelance graphic designer, all these different things, which is why I'm partially exhausted, which is why I'm uploading this video a little bit later than I had planned to, but you know what? We're gonna make it work. So, in order to become a Mage of Visual Arts, which is the artists who are responsible for making the moving portraits through the Harry Potter series, so when I saw this prompt, I was super stoked because that would be a dream. Also, as an artist, and going for the Mage of Visual Arts degree, I think it would be an awesome idea to read some art-related books as much as possible and then possibly give some recommendations on them. So any categories that I can fulfill with an artistic or art-related or artsy book, I'm going to try to fulfill that prompt with those kinds of books. In order to get a certification as a Mage of Visual Arts, you have to take 4 different classes. Also this year, there are different side certifications that you can get in case you didn't want to go for an entirely different career. I've decided to go for the Magical Shop Management. That way, if I was a professional Mage of Visual Arts in Harry Potter, I could open up a magical art shop. This year's prompt is to be educated in arithmancy for the owls and the newts. In case you're not sure what that is, the newts are another readathon that happens in August, so depending on how this goes, I'll probably do that one too. I'm going to tell you the different books that I've chosen in order to qualify for these different classes. So the prompt for arithmancy is magical qualities of the number 2, balance and opposites. Read something outside of your favorite genre. Okay, so my favorite genre is usually sci-fi, adult thriller. If I'm going to read fantasy, it's adult high fantasy. And my least favorite genre, shocker, is YA. I'm kind of over the different tropes that I keep finding in YA. It's really difficult for me to find a YA series that I can fall in love with, and this happens very rarely. The 2 YA series that I extremely love are the Harry Potter series, of course, and then also Illuminae, which I got into around November, December of 2019. And when I picked it up, I could not stop. I could not stop reading Illuminae for anything. Like, I think I literally read these 3 books in probably about less than 4 weeks, maybe 3. Even though I do have some qualms with the series, simply because I am tired of, like, the teenagers saving the world in a world where adults have only screwed it up in every way possible, and every adult is dumber than a gang of 13 to 17-year-olds. But, I mean, if you want to hear a video about my review and my take on different characters and situations from the Illuminae Files series, I'll be happy to make another video about that. Just leave it in the comments below if that's something that you'd like to hear a review on. So, since I have to choose something from a genre that I really struggle with, I refuse to purchase a YA book just for this challenge. So I'm going to use a book that was gifted to me by a relative, and I have yet to read, so they're probably going to be really happy once they see this that I'm actually reading it. And that book is Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. I know that a lot of people are fans of this series. I've never picked it up, and to be honest, I've never really paid attention to the reviews because, like I said, YA is not my thing, but I'm gonna give it a try, and hopefully soon when I post up the vlog of my first week reading the Owls, you guys will get my opinion on this. If I had to name a couple booktubers who I'd say that my taste is very similar to, I would say that I do take a lot of book recommendations from Books and Lala. I also take recommendations from Emily Fox and Murphy Napier. Apologies, Murphy, if I'm butchering your last name. Reading this will fulfill my arithmetic class, and that way I can get the certification in magical shop management. Next class is Astronomy, and the prompt is read a majority of this book when it's dark outside. So I do a lot of my reading at night anyway. I try to make like 20 to 30 minutes before I go to bed reading every day anyway. In order to fulfill the requirements for the astronomy class, I'm going to read the next book in the manga series that I'm reading. Currently I am reading O.W.L., and I'm currently on book number 9. So I'm going to be reading that at nighttime to hopefully fulfill that requirement. I'm currently reading it as an ebook, so these are so quick. They're only 200-page graphic novels, so I'm just gonna breeze through that probably like in the next 2 days. The next class I'll be taking at Hogwarts is Charms, and for this prompt it is Lumos Maxima, read a book with a white cover. So to fulfill the Charms requirement, I'm going to read The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. Oh my gosh, it's so white, it's kind of like reflecting. I don't know if you can see. There we go. The War of Art by Steven Pressfield, breaking through the blocks and winning your creative battles. So, full disclaimer, I actually started this book in early March, but because of everything that's going on with COVID-19 and me being a high school teacher and transitioning from school teaching to home teaching and organizing and planning and, being a freelancer and trying to get everything, I read the first few pages and then didn't get to continue it. So I don't even remember what anything happened in the first few pages. So I'm just going to start fresh and then use this for the Charms class. Next class I will be taking is Divinations. So for Divinations, the prompt is Third Eye. Assign numbers to your TBR and use a random number generator to pick your read. So for this prompt, I'm going to go to my Goodreads, open up my TBR, and then assign a random number generator. All right, so I'm going to my Goodreads. I'm going to my books. And then I'm going to my want to read. All right, awesome. So on my want to read, I have, how many books? I have 113 books. So now I'm going to go to Google and put in a random number generator. The maximum is going to be 113. And then I'm going to generate. So before I generate, I just want to make something clear. So if there are a couple series that are on my TBR, and if I choose something that is in a series that I haven't started yet, or a book later in a series that I know I'm not going to be able to get to anytime soon, I'm just going to regenerate the number. And if it is a book that I don't have, I'm going to do my best to see if I can get it online from my public library. Okay, so the book that popped up was 95. So I'm going to go to my TBR. So I'm scrolling down my TBR to find book number 95. All right, so the 95th book on my list is An Anonymous Girl by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. So I guess I'm going to be reading that. And then the last class for Mage of Visual Arts is History of Magic. The prompt for History of Magic is Witch Hunts, a book featuring witches and wizards. So for this, I don't know if there's a few of you who won't agree with me on this one, but I'm going to be reading the third book in the Game of Thrones trilogy, the Song of Ice and Fire series, and that is A Storm of Swords. I've been really into this series for the past year or so, and unfortunately, I don't care what anybody else says, there is magic in here. There are witches and wizards in here. Not a spoiler to anybody, especially if you watch the show, if you didn't read the series. There's dragons, there's necromancy, there's magi, there is a sorceress. There's fire magic. There's all these different things that go on in here. So, I mean, that has to count for something. And as much as I would like to reread the Harry Potter series, I just didn't want to go that route for this because I want to take my time with it and really enjoy it, since I haven't read Harry Potter in probably close to like 15 years. I haven't read it since I was like in middle school. So yeah, A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin. Another full disclosure, I have another copy of A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin because I originally went to Barnes & Noble's right after I read the second book in the Song of Ice and Fire series, which was The Clash of Kings, and I was so obsessed with it, I just went and bought the first book, the first copy that I saw, which was this one, and then I realized that the cover doesn't match the other copies of the book that I have, and at first I was like, that's not a big deal, I'm not picky, and then I realized that I'm picky. So I held off on it because it bothered me so much. I know that sounds ridiculous. This was a long time ago. I'm so stupid because guess what? Now I'm reading it. So after that, I decided I already bought this one at full price. I don't want to go buying another copy at full price, so I went to Thrift Books, and on Thrift Books, I ordered another copy. But guess what? On Thrift Books, I don't know if there's a way if you can see what the cover art looks like for the copy that you're purchasing. So I just purchased one off of Thrift Books because I thought I was going to have the cover that I want, and then when it finally showed up, it was this copy, which totally does not match the series, that I have at all. So I was even more upset. So I decided to just put it off, and eventually I figured I would pick up the original book that I have. But then I went to my local bookstore. They actually had a sale, and the copy that I wanted was on sale, so I got it because the cover matches the rest of my series. Oh, pain. Did I sort of do something ridiculous by buying 3 copies of the same book when I could have read the first one and it wouldn't have made a difference? Absolutely yes. Am I finally happy that I got the right copy that I wanted? Absolutely yes. I'm a book hoarder. I have a problem. I'm working on it. Alright guys, those are all the classes that I'm taking for this year's OWLS exams. If you would like to see the prompts, I will post the link to the website below where the prompts are listed, and I hope you all have a happy, wonderful readathon. Alright guys, take care.
Change the world. Your imagination.
It could change the world.